the immigrant felons. Next on the list is going to have to be New York City cab drivers.
They're the worst.
But they're going to be unemployed. Instead of just being smelly, angry Muslims who can't drive a cab, they will be smelly, angry Muslims who have no job. With Uber.
Idle hands don't tend to do well.
And
in
Lyft.
This country.
You have to use Lyft too. I'm against monopolies.
Okay, good. Fine. Sold over here.
Just thought I'd mention it. I haven't used it yet.
But you like that pink mustache? Yeah, I'm for that.
I think they've gotten rid of it. No, it's the same thing with Amazon. I order everything on Amazon. Well, soon it'll be the only company in the world, and then they're raising prices.
Yes, but when you order it directly from the manufacturer, you get, here's something suspicious.
Well, why can't Barnes & Noble fix its webpage? I try to order from them.
I ordered directly from the Trump site for my Trump gear.
Oh, you did? Where is it?
It got lost, and I contacted them because they offered to send it to me, so I knew the guy, and I said, my Trump stuff still hasn't arrived. He goes, USPS keeps throwing them out. He goes, this is the guy at the site. This isn't some random person. And they go, well, here's a FedEx. Here's the FedEx number. We can track it. He thinks USPS is sabotaging them.
I'm suspicious. They're just incompetent, even not trying.
Really?
Yeah, and also it was Christmas. You saw even FedEx couldn't get Christmas presents delivered because, I mean, Trump hasn't gone after the post office particularly. Those are Americans in those jobs. They're working class Americans. They should love Trump.
I guess. They are a particularly lazy group, though. Here's the guy.
I have...
How did he get here?
That's the one I saw. He's going to be at the State of the Union tonight with Wasserman Schultz.
Now, I don't have...
Our founders.
We don't have
founders, but in our country.
3D or 4D. So if I had a spray, I would show you the stench that was going on in here. But help me out here. We're taking refugees in? Why are 100% of cab drivers all from Lahore, Pakistan?
I know, because they can be counted on to block vote for the Democrats. And also, the thing is, once they get in...
Do they vote, though? Like Brimelow was saying, we assume Mexicans are this massive voting force.
No, they're like 7.4%. But still, look, it was enough to get us Obamacare. We needed 100,000 Muslims in Minnesota to allow the election to be close enough for Al Franken to steal, and he was the 51st vote for Obamacare. It does have consequences who gets to vote.
I'm glad you brought that up because you mentioned this before. You were talking about the demographics during Romney, and if we had the same voting demo as far as who goes to the polls.
Bigger victory than Ronald Reagan did in 1980.
You follow that, folks at home? If the same type of people who voted in 60?
Well, with Reagan, it was 1980. It's 1980. Not that long.
Okay, so you take 1980's voters and you apply them to today, and Romney would have won by a landslide.
Bigger than Reagan did.
You know, I read this interview with Michael Moore, the wonderful Michael Moore, and he was saying this as a good thing,
No, they're admitting it now because it's close enough.
Well, he was saying 80% of American voters are female, young, or of minority.
That's insane.
Well, it's assuming every single one of them votes, so it's a little bit off. But say everyone who could vote would vote, you'd still have...
Oh, I see. Throwing in women, well, you have half the population.
Right.
But married women and certain, particularly right-wing single women, vote Republican.
Yes. But it's a looming force that I think the great thing about Trump is, and Cruz, I don't think you like Cruz, but it's finally appealing to the dad demo.
He's not a natural-born citizen. He's also corny, and he used that Fonzie jump the shark thing. I'm sorry, that disqualifies him more than the being born in Calgary.
We're killing Cruz because he's used the term jump the shark. I want a nerd. I've had a cool president for 7 years.
No, that's beyond nerd. That is the most hacky cliche in the universe. No, anyone who uses that, no. When he showed the video, Gavin.
I also, it's up there with threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yep.
It's
Oh, it's worse than that. No, that's what threw up in my mouth a little bit. It will be like in 15 years.
By the way, Happy Days had at least 100 episodes after Fonz jumped over the shark. So it's a very inaccurate assessment of Fonzarelli.
It can't be used. It can't be used. It can't be used.
It won't be used. But
No, it can't. That is what disqualifies him from the presidency more than his Canadian birth.
It's so hard to make Ann get serious here. This is a serious subject.
Very serious about that.
If dads would get off the couch, we would have a Trump. And I think the dads have
If dads would get off the couch, have you seen these Trump rallies?
Well, to the voting booths in November.
I think they're going to the voting booth.
Really? What do you think the odds are that Trump is going to be the next president?
From the second week after he announced, I said he's going to be the nominee and he's going to be the president. And I haven't changed that.
That's great news. What an
The
America.
only
that would be.
reason I waited for week 2 was I was terrified. I mean, obviously he had me at Mexican rapist, but I was worried he would back away from it the way, oh, that's right, every other politician ever has. I thought he lost like $100 million that first week with the Macy's deal, with Univision, with not doing The Apprentice. He had to be pretty serious about it, and usually all you have to do is look cross-eyed at a Republican and they start apologizing, rolling on the floor and groveling. Now that sounds funny to imagine that with Donald Trump, but
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Well, I remember
It took
he
until,
said,
like week 2 for me to see, oh my gosh, he's not backing down.
remember when he was asked, why do you use the term anchor babies? And he goes, well, I don't know. What should it be? And he goes, how about American-born child of unnaturalized citizens? And he goes, that takes too long to say. I'm using anchor babies. Next. Well, that's an America I can live in. That's convenient.
I feel like I've died and I'm dreaming this whole candidacy.
It is. It's
I just wanna
men. We finally have a man again.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
think there's
yeah.
a real, I wanted to talk to you
agree.
about this.
I
There's this
agree.
estrogen in the waters.
I agree.
Even like my son, I took him swimming the other day, and half of the kids there were in an indoor pool, right, have swim shirts on.
Really?
Yeah, it's a thing now. Kids all wear swim shirts. Now, I understand maybe in
How old are they?
5 to 10.
That's odd.
That's a thing now. And men, if you go to a water park like Great Wolf Lodge, all the men will be wearing swim shirts, even though we have a roof over our heads. So you can't talk about the sun. And I
Are
think,
they overweight?
yes, they're embarrassed of their breasts. Well, you can still see the breasts, by the way. They just have like a Oakley logo around them, but they do have these plump little boobs. And I think kids are growing breasts
I'm so
too.
glad you told me about this,
But
Gavin.
even kids who don't have breasts are wearing swim shirts. And I think we're turning men into women. Like, look at this. Why do you have that shirt on? Sunburn? I think it is the death of mankind. It's the death of masculinity. And that is why Hillary has a chance. And that is why politics is so anti-numbers. I mean, Obama can get up there and he can
Hillary
say,
has
assault
no
weapon.
chance against Trump
Really?
because he's a man. She may not have a chance against Bernie Sanders at this point.
Bring up that betting chart. Now, this is Europeans playing the odds.
I've tried to do this a long time ago, but it's very hard if you're an American against a lot of gamble. So you have to go through all these steps to do that thing in Ireland. And I tried doing it one night, years ago, for some election where I thought everyone was wrong and it was too hard. But I've been threatening Tim Grosclose, that fantastic professor from UCLA, now he's at George Mason. He goes 100% by the betting pools. And I've been telling him from the beginning, Trump is going to win, Trump is going to win, Trump is going to win. He said, well, not according to the betting pools. If it weren't so difficult, I could be making a lot of money off of that bet.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well,
I think Trump is pretty high now. I wouldn't make as much money now. He was, for the first 5 months, Trump was not winning the betting pools even to be the nominee. It was that 4-foot-tall Marco Rubio.
Yeah, well, he's still doing great in this poll that Rat is taking 100 years to pull up. Hey, Garrett, can you put on the AC in here? It's getting kind of hot. I don't care if there's a noise over it. I don't know. I get so scared of the lack of masculinity in this country because that's what we need to win.
No, I
Look at
agree.
this. We've got Hillary at the top.
Well, okay, that isn't, close enough. When I should have been taking the bets, Trump was at like 1%. Say, could I have some water, please?
Yes, there's that stuff in the freezer. It might not be cold enough.
Oh, I could still do presidency.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm telling you, have you ever tried to do these betting pools?
No.
Oh, they're really hard to do.
Oh, because they register where you are? Yeah, I don't think Americans can even do them. How idiotic is that rule, by the way? It's insider trading because you have a vote. So your one vote is going to make you rich.
Well, in general, I'm against gambling because I think it preys on moral weakness.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
And I just, and I think Pat Buchanan would agree with me on this. I just don't think the government should be involved, and this isn't the government involved in it, but the lottery is, in corrupting the populace. It shouldn't be get rich quick. It should be you work hard over many years. You invest your money.
It's
Maybe
the
you have a
stupid
great
tax. You're
idea.
paying your stupid tax. I mean, the Powerball, we have Canadians coming in here in droves to play the Powerball. The odds of a pedestrian dying walking to the store, 1 in 25 million. It's 1 in 300 million.
I had a bond trader friend once